Welcome back to the Banban lore series. Well, I'll now be going over every single thing about this seemingly never-ending franchise. Today, I'll be discussing the lore of Sheriff Toadster, who, while introduced in the second game thanks to his mural, didn't actually physically appear until the fourth. Before we begin to go through his lore notes, I thought we should take a look at something else. That is the video displaying footage of a brown frog, most likely a toad, hopping around with Toadster's hat on the table. This is basically saying that at least Toadster's DNA came from the toad, or they used the toad itself for the experiment. Alright, now let's get to the good stuff. The first update can be found in the Banban Nab Nab fight room. It reads, Toadster has been given the same modified Juvanium solution that was given to Stinger so they can get rid of those pesky primal instincts. And before introducing the human genome, he initially had a nocturnal sleep cycle and would hop around much like an actual toad would. Our scientists also want to teach Toadster how to speak, which shouldn't be much of an issue due to the human donor being an English speaker. Update 7 details how they want to avoid similar issues with how cases are handled and made. They decided to just make Toadster watch a whole slew of Western media ranging from movies to cartoons. The goal they wanted to achieve was to teach Toadster how to capture and detect criminals, but at the same time how to protect the innocent. Another goal of Toadster is to teach kids how to protect people themselves. He was also given 3 hats to choose from and chose his favorite, which is most likely the one we see him with now. The next update talks about how horribly the method of teaching Toadster how to catch criminals and protect others would backfire tremendously and could be considered too excessive. Apparently, whoever isn't a part of Banban's family is a criminal to Toadster. Criminals can range to objects with human-like features, i.e. the buckets, to humans. And to make matters worse, before they realized their plan had gone wrong, last week Toadster's schedule fully consisted of teaching him how to capture anyone or anything, no matter the size. It also details how his methods of capture are too violent for any human to survive. Toadster has become so much like a sheriff that simply being one can ruin almost everything. Toadster's final update mentions how any and all work with him should be abandoned, seeing as his dangerous behavior has been unchanging, and the lower level transport team, or LLTT, have been called. Anyways, it also says that Toadster has the perfect capability to restrict himself from arresting presumably anyone who isn't a part of Banban's family. This series gives some weight, as when he was in a room with Banban, he listened to him, though Toadster was taken out when Banban was trying to make him do something dangerous. However, this is also the first time Toadster had listened to anyone within months. Toadster then was thrown into the depths of the kindergarten and labeled to be permanently not ready for presentation. And after he was thrown in the depths within the safe house area of Banban 6, you can find a note by Toadster hidden in a bush, and it reads, The criminals have won. They gained my trust. They had me believe they were deliverers of justice alongside me, only to then throw me down here like filth as soon as they deem me not up to their standards. Those rats will pay. All criminals 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 will pay. From here on out, there is no more letting my guard down, and no more tricking me. From here on out, there is no authority but me. After a little while, he was later found by presumably Dadadoo, Bittergiggle, and Syringium, considering the games and lore notes have shown they know each other and were close at one point. Alright, so let's take a look into how the games themselves portray Toadster. Summing it up, I've gathered that the sheriff is quite loyal, caring, as well as empathetic, seeing as he likes to protect the queen from things he said.
Sheriff, accompany the parent and go grab the missing parts.
But your majesty, we should be focused on protecting you.
Protecting us from Bittergiggle.
Prepare to get toasted! These toad stars never disappoint, partner.
And warning us when a foe is near.
Wait, I know my enemies. We're being stalked. These vents are interconnected. They make perfect traps. I'm sure there's a way we can tell which ones are rigged. We just need to figure it out.
Toadster shows his empathy in the Bittergiggle death scene, wanting to tell a joke to someone who, in the end, was his best friend, just before he presumably dies.
I'm always the one telling jokes, and I've yet to have someone tell me a joke. Sheriff, tell me a joke.
Okay, I'll try. Why don't animals eat jesters? Because they taste funny.
I don't get it. Oh, wait. That's actually not bad at all.
Goodbye, my friend. Just leave me alone, please.
I say presumably because rarely does anyone ever die in this franchise. Oh my goodness! I'm gonna be honest, I kinda hope Bitter Giggle stays dead because I want actual stakes in this story. I also want Sir Dadu and even the Queen to stay dead for those same reasons. Anyways, despite this, he has a burning, bitter hatred for humans and developed trust issues due to the mistreatment he received from them, as explained before. This is an explanation for why he could be annoyed with us at times. It's a simple fact we're human. Another trait he has is he can be pretty crafty with the stuff he sets up. He had a rigged button to make the alarms blare in the entire facility to the person's location, lured Jumbo Josh out with fake broccoli, and made some fort walls out of some wood bambolina at just 10 to 15 minutes in universe? All of this is to say that if worst comes to worst, he becomes defeated. This could be seen when we catch up with him in Banban 7.
From being the Queen's personal bodyguard to some bounty hunter living in an alley. What a humiliating downgrade. I would say we're back where we started, but it's worse than that. They have very valuable information about the whereabouts of the Green Gorilla. This red key card will give you access to said apartment building. Wouldn't hurt to see what they got.
Toadster is hopeless, but tries to continue and strive forwards regardless. Alright, I think it's time we start wrapping this up. The Bitter Giggle death scene, as I mentioned before, was actually the last time we saw Toadster, as we continued our adventure within the 7th game. Though it should be safe to say, I'm quite worried about what he's going to end up being like next time we meet him. Just think about it for a second, would you? Toadster feels meaningless without someone to protect. Someone who he might have been close to before is now dead, and his love interest is probably badly injured after the huge fight between Josh and the Notified Army. Need I mention the part in the Secrets of Syringeon video that exactly 7 minutes in, Ty mentions how the brothers would have made a section where Toadster is crazed.
A crazed Sheriff Toadster was scripted to trap you inside of a grocery store. Contraption to scare the crazed sheriff away. Not notified, but crazed.
Who's to say that they won't bring this back for a future installment? I mean, they did it with Banban's guitar, which, according to the Banban Secrets video, was initially a scrap concept, but as we now see, it was later on used for the 8th game. But with all that said, I can finally conclude the lore of Sheriff Toadster and what we know so far. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I think either Stinger Flynn or Syringeon will be who I'll make a video on next, since they have a good chunk of info on them. Anyways, goodbye for now.